So just a note on this dialogic format that Plato uses. So again, not everyone uses it, or most philosophers don't use it. It's usually considered a form that is used in theater or movie making. But you have to keep in mind, or we need to keep in mind, that Plato comes from the theater. So goes the story that Plato was a theater a guy. He was writing plays and Greek tragedies, and one day, as he was going to the theater, he passed by Socrates and was so blown away by Socrates that he went back home and he burned all his play scripts and devoted himself to philosophy. So, a nice little story. Whether it's true or not, no one knows. But we definitely see a mixing of the theatrical and the philosophical in Plato's philosophy, right? And he gives us this character of Socrates, right? So much more we could say about that, but just trying to highlight the dialogue form here as a method for critical thinking, as a sort of a discussion that's going on the screen, right, or what we're reading, right? So we see the story going on, we see these characters interacting, and what the dialogue format does, it brings us in as readers, as dialogue partners. I mean, all reading does that. Novels do that. All texts do it. But the dialogue format really is does it in a much more pronounced way. Okay, but it really shows that critical thinking, or demonstrates that critical thinking operates in the space between the self and the other in this dialogic space. Okay, excuse me. So the parable of the cave is in we find it in book 7 of the Republic, which is a large dialogue and one of the most famous uh, dialogues and philosophical texts in the history of the West. So it's a relatively short piece in one chapter or one book of the Republic. It's only a couple pages. Okay, so Socrates talks about everything in the Republic. So it's the political science text, the philosophy text, the moral philosophy text, the mathematics text, science text, history text, all that. And in book 7, he turns to this parable. Okay, it's so he comes up with a story, right, which is going to sort of synthesize everything that he's been saying. Okay, and he presents the story in book 7 to Glaucon here. Okay, and so we want to take a look at how he frames that story, or the structure of the story.